it's TNG'S, and welcome to another Star Trek video. On my channel, you see me talk a lot about Star Trek. Episodes, themes, observations. But what about ranking Star Trek episodes? Specifically, ranking Star Trek episodes on TierMaker.com. I mean, other YouTubers are doing it.
Not good enough, damn it! Not good enough!
So I'm testing the waters of a more casual series on my channel, where I rank episodes of Star Trek off the top of my head. Starting with Star Trek The Next Generation, because that was my first Star Trek show. And if you'd like to see more of this series, please drop a comment below, let me know. But for right now, Next Gen Season 1, make it so.
Let's see what's out there. Engage.
But before I go further, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I talk a lot about Star Trek, video games, and whatever else I feel like talking about. And if you'd like to help support the channel, consider becoming a member. Be great to have you aboard. First episode, Encounter at Farpoint. I think I'm gonna put it in the D tier. And I've mentioned before how I'm not a huge fan of Encounter at Farpoint. In fact, in my video where I ranked the Star Trek premieres, I ranked it as the worst out of the pre-2009 Star Treks. The characters aren't really defined all that well, the actors are pretty stiff. It does have Q going for it, and the whole trial thing that I like how it comes around full circle in All Good Things at the end. But the episode just isn't very good, so that's why it's going in D tier. I don't want to put it into F tier because it did eventually give us a show that was really, really good. But again, it's not a good episode. The Naked Now, which is basically just a rehash of The Naked Time from the original series. I think I'm gonna put that also in the D tier. I think it's better than Encounter at Farpoint, but I don't know if by that much. It's more just a weird episode, and I feel like the original series did a better job with the premise. Plus, I think we can all acknowledge that it never happened.
It never happened.
The infamous Code of Honor. I'm actually going back and forth between this episode in D tier or F tier. I think everything that needed to be said about Code of Honor has been said. My opinion of the episode is that I'm just more baffled that it got made in the first place. I feel like there are worse episodes of Next Gen, like even worse than Code of Honor. You know what? It might be a high F tier episode. Yeah, it's kind of an infamous episode, and I think we can all agree that there was a low point in the show. The Last Outpost, I feel like that's a D tier episode as well. The episode does introduce the Ferengi, but the Ferengi were really rough in that episode. In fact, I guess Armin Shimmerman was kind of horrified at his performance in the episode, that when he was cast as Quark in DS9, he actually made it his goal to basically atone for his performance in The Last Outpost. Cause yeah, it's not a very good episode. But we do get the quotable Riker saying, "Anybody?" Where No One Has Gone Before is actually a pretty good episode. I'm gonna put it in B tier. It has some really great moments with the fantasies of the crew coming to life. Picard has that great moment with the vision of his mother.
You've been dead, but I'm always with you. You know that.
The one thing that drags it down for me is they kinda pump up Wesley a little bit, which the show has a problem throughout the entire series. You know, they're always overstressing how gifted Wesley is, which gets annoying, and it's kind of a reason why everybody, or not everybody, a lot of people don't like him.
There's one called Mozart. Wesley is such a person.
But it's still a pretty good episode. I like watching it every once in a while. The Lonely Among Us, I don't remember a whole bunch about that episode. I think a good chunk of the Enterprise crew gets possessed by weird lightning, and that's about all I remember about it. I think I'm gonna put it in D tier just because I don't remember it being a train wreck, but if I don't remember much about it and it just didn't stick with me, that's pretty bad. It's going pretty low in my tier list. Maybe I need to rewatch it. I don't know, but if it can't leave an impression in my mind after watching it a couple of times, then it's going low in the tier. Ah yes, Justice, the Wesley steps on the flowers and almost gets executed episode. Definitely D tier. I'd say it's probably better than The Last Outpost, at least because occasionally I'll sit down and watch it, but I'd probably watch it more than The Last Outpost, but yeah, it's not a very good episode again. And yeah, it's going D tier. The Battle.
What's a battle?
I feel like that's a decent episode. It's going in C tier. It is a Ferengi episode, which next-gen Ferengi episodes aren't very good, and I think we can all acknowledge that. But it does give some nice Picard backstory, so for that, I'll put it in C tier. Hyde and Q, I did a video on, and I do enjoy the episode. I don't know if I'd call it a great episode, so I'll probably put it in C tier. I kind of doesn't know what message it's going for. The first half of the show is kind of going on about how people play a game tells you a lot about their character, but then like the second half of the show is a whole power corrupts kind of message. So it's a little messy there, but not a bad episode. And Q is, entertaining in it, so I can give Q that.
Did someone say game?
Now, I do kind of enjoy Haven because I love Waxana. She's great.
I am Luoxana Troy, daughter of the fifth house, holder of the sacred chalice of Reeks, heir to the holy rings of Betazet.
This might raise some eyebrows. I think I'm gonna put it B tier. It's not better than where no one has gone before, but I would call it B tier for me because Majel Barrett's great as Waxana. She's always entertaining in Next Gen. The rest of the main plot of the episode with Troy's engagement to that guy with that hair, it's not the worst thing ever. It's not exactly memorable, but again, Majel Barrett saves that episode, so it's B tier for me. The Big Goodbye. I know people love this episode. I'd probably say it's B tier, but probably below Haven. I know people love the episode. For me, it's okay. I do like that it has that period piece feeling, for the 1940s. But, it's okay. I'll sit through it, but, I'd almost put it as a high C tier, but I think it's a little better than C tier, so I'm putting it in the B tier. Datalore is a good episode. I'm gonna put that in between Where No One Has Gone Before and Haven. Brent Spiner is a good actor, and he's able to do multiple characters in one episode. And his characters don't feel like they're just copies of one character. Lore feels very distinct from Data.
I say tomato, and you say tomato. I say potato, and you say potato.
And you see this throughout Next Gen, where Brent Spiner will take on multiple roles, but he makes each of his roles feel distinct. He's a really good actor. I have to give him credit for that. Angel 1. I did a video on Angel 1. Now, is it a good episode? Not really. I would say low C tier. Maybe under the battle, but there's probably gonna be a lot of stuff in between those two episodes. But for right now, Angel 1 is C tier. 11001001. And no, I haven't memorized that episode title. I have to read it every time. I just know it's in binary. It's an okay episode, I would say. Where I would put it... maybe high C tier? I said high C tier, not low C tier. It's got some moments. Yeah, it's a C tier episode. Too short a season. I do somewhat enjoy the episode. Again, not a great episode, but I do somewhat enjoy it. If only to riff on it. Probably low C tier. Maybe higher than Angel 1, but beneath the battle. When the Bow Breaks, another Wesley episode. Definitely C tier. C tier. Better than Angel 1, not as good as Too Short a Season. Home Soil's another one that I know I've seen a couple of times, but I can't tell you much about it. I know that's the episode with the ugly bags of mostly water, but that's about all I can tell you about it. I'm gonna put it next to The Lonely Among Us, because again, if it didn't leave much of an impression on me, it's probably not that great of an episode. Coming of Age, not a bad episode, but not a whole lot goes on in it. I should say it's not bad for season 1. Like, I don't mind sitting through it, but yeah, not a whole bunch happens in it. Probably put it C tier. Maybe better than Too Short a Season. Heart of Glory's another one where I know I've seen it, and I could tell you briefly that it's about they found Klingons, and the Klingons try to get Worf to join them to take over the ship. But that's about all I could tell you about it. I'm gonna assume it's better than Encounter at Farpoint, and even better than Justice. But I feel like it's probably C tier. I'm gonna put Heart of Glory right here. Next to Angel 1. Maybe higher than Angel 1. Arsenal of Freedom. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the episode. Do I want to call it F tier? Nah, I'll call it D tier. D tier, lower than Encounter at Farpoint. Yeah. Symbiosis. Okay, the deal with Symbiosis, it's got a decent message. You know, it's got the anti-drug message and, yeah, not becoming addicted to artificial substances. Like, I can appreciate that. It's got a decent moral. Now, the way it communicates that message, probably it hits you over the head with a 2x4 about it. But I don't think the episode is that bad. It's probably a C tier episode, but not bad. Maybe I'll put it above Coming of Age. Not a bad episode. I actually am okay sitting through it. Skin of Evil, the one that kills off Tasha Yar very stupidly. Don't lie, she died very stupidly in that episode. Oh, here, I'm just gonna walk over here when you told me not to. Woo! It does have that nice funeral scene. That's probably the saving grace of the episode, but yeah, the rest of the episode, I'd say high D tier. It's definitely above Justice, but it's not an episode I like going to a whole bunch. We'll Always Have Paris. C tier. Maybe higher than Too Short a Season. Kind of a little bit of a sob story with Picard with his missed opportunity at love, but not a terrible episode. I don't mind sitting through it. Okay, this one is gonna make some people mad. I do not like Conspiracy. I know people like the episode. I am not a fan of it. It's kind of weird. The special effects don't do anything for me. It's kind of creepy. You know, they got all those weird bugs walking around and it looks like weird claymation. There's the guy that kind of looks like Chevy Chase and he gets it. So yeah, people are not gonna be happy with me for this, but it's going F tier. To be fair, it's probably a better episode than Code of Honor. But that's not saying much because look at Code of Honor. But yeah, it's an episode I do not like, so it's pretty low in my tiers. The Neutral Zone. I actually really enjoy the Neutral Zone. It's a solid B tier episode for me. So I'm gonna put it even above where no one has gone before. I like the subplot with the 20th century people adjusting to life in the 24th century. It's also an alright way to reintroduce the Romulans, and one of those Romulans suspiciously looks like Gul Dukat. How many times did you surgically alter yourself, Gul Dukat? Decent episode, and I don't mind rewatching it every so often, even on my own. And here we have my current ranking of the episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. Season 1 of the show is the weakest in my opinion, so it's no surprise that most episodes end up pretty low on my tiers, mainly in the C and D tiers, though some episodes made it up to the B tier. Let me know if you want to see more of this series. I'm prepared to do all 7 seasons. And also comment how you would rank Season 1 episodes. I want to hear from you. As always, thanks for tuning in to another Star Trek video. If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends! Until next time...
I say tomato, and you say tomato. I say potato, and you say potato.